What's up, guys? Welcome back. I know it's been a minute, but we are back and things should be flowing a little bit smoother now. We got some new equipment. I got a new light. I got bamboozled though because I thought in the light kit it was two of them, so I could have one here and one on this side, so that way it gets like really good illumination and this isn't as dark as it is, but that one's on the way. But that's not why we're here. We are here to do the hand trap video that was promised so long ago. Given that the format, like I said, before this video like officially begins and Jules and I go into it, which by the way, say hi, Jules.
Hello.
Keep in mind, we are a competitive team. We very much, when we're speaking about these things, we're speaking in the context of a regional, a YCS, box tournament, case tournament. We do go to locals, but our main focus is on the meta. If you go to a regional or YCS, this is what we're talking about. What you're probably going to see, what's been happening lately. This is the context. Now, as I always say, prepare for your event, prepare for your environment. If you're just going to locals and you got nothing but blue eyes players and stun players, obviously tailor your side deck and main deck to that, you know, mystical space typhoons and all that. But what we're going to be speaking about is what we're seeing, which is a very dominant format now that the branded structure deck has come out now. It's going to be a lot of Draco Tail branded, pure branded, still a lot of Yummy, still a lot of Mitsurugi, Fiendsmith running around here and there. And your odds and end decks, you know, decks that you wouldn't expect to see, like Melodious, or, you know, just these one-off rogue decks that you could maybe forget about, or White Forest, decks that are still relevant but not really in that main spotlight. But that's not to say that you shouldn't be prepared for them, because if you go up against like a Mermail player and you have no idea what any of the cards do, not a single card, you don't know where to hit them. You could set up the best board in the world, but the other player that's playing Mermail will have the advantage because he knows where to interact with you, but you don't know where to Ash or where to go spell or what is going to be a waste or this or that. But without further ado, let's get into it. And we're going to start off with I would say the best fucking hand traps and the most broken ones Konami has ever printed. They're not all on equal playing fields, but let's talk about the Dominus cards. Obviously, everybody knows if your deck can play Impulse, just play it. Even if you may lock yourself out of other cards that are not engine, but like other hand traps, it's kind of worth playing, because if you can, now keep in mind, the restriction is only if you use it from hand. If you go first and you set these cards, there's no restriction, so keep that in mind. But I'm going to just throw these up here in the order I think that they should be, which is Purge and Impulse being obviously the top dogs. Songs is a little bit more complicated to play, and Spiral still needing to cook a little bit more. Jules, what are your thoughts?
I agree with Impulse and Purge. You know, Impulse being the best card in Yu-Gi-Oh right now. I don't think there's any debate about that. If your deck can play Impulse, you better be playing Impulse if you want to win in your event. Mm-hmm. It even elevates rogue decks like hell. I know Branded has some lights, but if you play majority darks, I mean, why not?
Yeah, or the fire decks, the pure fire decks can play Impulse. You know, it gives decks like Fire King an advantage where they can also play Impulse.
All attributes that play with Impulse get automatically boosted. Just having that card in their back pocket, it stops so much in meta right now.
It could stop Yummy in their tracks. It could stop, you know, Branded Fusion. And not to mention, you still have your engine to rely on. This is just handy, great non-engine.
And it being a trap, pretty much just does not allow Azuna or any K9 card really to do their thing on your turn. Like, it could quite literally tell you, wait, it's my turn. I'm using my trap.
Yeah, this is true. This is true. So what do you think about Purge?
Purge is a little lower because I just think stopping a special summons a lot better than stopping a search. However, it's still S tier. Like, deck search. deck search a lot, and if you can stop a search, a key search, that could be the final nail in the coffin to end your opponent's turn. Yummy, if they still do pure, I know Mitsu Yummy is very popular right now, but the pure players, I mean, play Purge. It stops a lot of Mitsurugi. They have to search to special summon their monsters.
Yeah, that is true. I mean, yeah, every deck under the sun searches right now. That's why we're seeing Droll making a huge comeback, because of all the decks that are splashing all these engines together, or, Purge is great. And these cards get even better if you pair them up with, like, other cards as well. It's the same reason why, like, Nib is a really great card, but it gets even better when you pair it with, like, an Ash plus a Nib, because not only did you stop their starter, but you also just blew all their extenders out of the water. So, and that's why I think Songs is kind of B tier. It's not the worst. You guys probably saw in the Yummy videos I've been posting about and the deck list, this board breaker approach to Songs and Purge and Imperm and Evenly and having all these traps, you are able to get more benefit. Now, if you're a deck that can play Songs, play it. I might be switching off of that build for Yummy, but I still think Songs is great. There's not many decks that can play it. I mean, just even Yummy, they can't do Marshmallow from hand. Sky Striker is another great deck that can use it, although you get more benefit having more spells, but you do also have this in your back pocket. There's not a lot of decks that can play it, so I think if you pair them up, like when I was pairing these Songs with the Purge, there were many times where I purged and then Songs and then searched another Purge, or I did Songs and then Purge, and because Songs is already in the graveyard, that Purge turned into a Negate Destroy. It's great stuff. Unfortunately, Spiral just it's not the best. It's really good for what it does, but hits the mania attributes of Light and Dark, gives literally so many other decks like an advantage, because decks that can play like wind or fire or anything, and plus another trap. The downside is if you don't have a trap, your opponent does get the special summon, which is not advantage we want to see. If you don't have 3 of each of these cards just sitting at home in a deck box or in bulk somewhere or just put away, absolutely try to pick these up, because these will only get better as more decks come along. More decks will be released of different attributes and types, and you never know when Spiral might be like the most insane card and you could pick it up for like $15-18 right now, but maybe in a year from now it ends up being like a $40 card. You don't want to be that guy. You don't want to get caught lacking. Yeah, any closing thoughts on the dominance cards?
The meta will always shift. I mean, who knows? In a year's time, next October, the best deck in the room could be a win deck, and therefore, that deck might like sending things back to the hand. Like you never know with these cards. Like they fluctuate with the meta. Impulse was insanely priced when Malice was a thing. Purge then took the top spot when Yummy became a thing. No one knows about what this meta is going to become, but having playsets of these 3, even Dominators to an extent, you don't want to be caught lacking when the meta shifts and now that $15-12 Spiral just became $50 on you. Yeah,
and we're seeing it. Konami's liking to make all these new and eccentric and very different decks. So, Jules is right. You never know what's coming down the road. You don't want to be caught lacking. And who knows, they might print more Dominus cards. I mean, Dominus Spiral does Light and Dark. Maybe they do something with Water and Fire. Maybe we get more Dominus cards down the road. So definitely pick them up. But let's get into the Ghost Girls. Obviously, I think without saying, Ash Blossom is literally S tier. Always play 3 of. I know that I was playing a build that didn't even play it, not even in the side, but honestly, Ash Blossom just takes care of so much. Whether you're going first, going second, stops searches, stops special summons, stops foolish burials, especially with the way Branded's going, being able to stop fusion. And it's not like Ash alone will do enough. It's very much you have to pair hand traps up together. But if you can play Ash and Purge, which you can, you just gotta sequence your stuff right. It's insane because if you can stop 2 searches or search and special summon, that's kind of broken. But yeah, I think
and Ash right now as well. Like even on your own turn, it stops the chummy. It protects you.
Even if you get double chummy, at least you stop 1 chummy.
Because getting 2 draws is a lot worse than only getting 1 per special summon. And if you can prevent 2 draws and make a half board, your opponent has got half the amount of cards they were about to get because that Ash just saved your butt.
Oh yeah, Ash is chef's kiss. Thank you, Konami. Also, Konami, thank you to literally reprinting so many great staples in 5Ds. Thank you, that's amazing. Ghost Warner. Yeah, just don't play it. It's not great right now. It's along with Spooky Dogwood. It's the only deck that I would play this would be like Exodia, because Exodia gains health based on your life points. So if you make a going second Exodia and it's a just blow your opponent out of the water, clear their board Exodia to like 42,000 smack, cool. Other than that, it's not really good. Not to say it won't be good in the future because, all kinds of decks can come out. I think everything on this list, maybe minus the cards at the bottom, just have 3 copies of. Everything's been reprinted in all the rarities, all the rarity collections, 5Ds, the structure decks. There's plenty of ways to get like cheap copies of a lot of these things. I know the songs and Spiral and a lot of the Dominus cards still are kind of expensive, but better to pick them up. Now, Jules, what are your thoughts on Ghost Bell? Because I know Ghost Bell is kind of hit or miss right now for some decks, but honestly, I think it's above Purge right now. I think it's like right below Ash.
I also agree. Ghost Bell right now, especially right now that Branded is coming back, we might start seeing a little bit more Bestials being played in decks, especially with the Branded players, because they're all searchable through Lebellion.
Mm-hmm.
Bell stops Bestials. Bell will protect you from a Bestial. But even that's the case, I think the most important part of Bell right now is helping you out against Dracotail and their traps.
Because you can hit them on the traps, and you can hit them on their turn. So if you draw 2, you can, interrupt their plays, but also protect yourself against the trap cards.
And also, if they have the Gulamel on the field and they want to activate a trap with Gulamel, you chain the Bell. Gulamel can't do anything because it's a when. It has to do it after the Dracotail thing. Preventing that Gulamel from popping is very key because they'll need to force something out, something when they don't want to, in order to pop something on your board. And if you can just stop the Gulamel from doing anything, eventually they're going to run out of cards to use, and now that Gulamel's there and waiting to just be outed.
Is it main deck worthy? Absolutely right now. Main deck 2, put the 3rd in the side, or main deck 3, because even against Yummy, when they want to, shuffle back to special summon 2 and you bell them, unless they surprise and get the other synchro out, like Pupsy, depending on how they comboed, they kind of just literally stop in their tracks. So, or they have no extension and they use Mignon to special summon to get another body out so they can start their synchroing. Also hits the Mitsurugi, the recursion and the special summoning and Ame coming back out. It stops a lot. Ghost Ogre. I'm gonna be honest, Ghost Ogre is kind of falling down the ladder just a little bit. But he can hit key things because it doesn't really affect Branded as much. You can hit them in awkward places to eliminate fusion material, but they do banish or shuffle back from the graveyard and banishment and hand and all these other places. So, it can do a number on Yummy. It can do stuff to Mitsurugi, but it's like I would rather see one of these cards or something else that we're going to talk about than a Ghost Ogre.
I think Ghost Ogre shines in the K9 matchup, being able to, stop Lupus, being able to stop some of those effects, especially Lupus. Getting rid of the Lupus, they can't Xyz, which is amazing, especially since that monster that they're about to make is about to become untargetable. So not only get rid of the lupus, which is gonna be banished because it's probably coming out of the graveyard, it's gonna get banished, and they don't get the XP monster.
Yep. So it's great, depending on what your deck playing and if you're playing a Dominus and this and that. Not saying it's bad, but just keep it in mind. Cherries, as much as I love it, it's like bottom B tier. You can do some sneaky stuff with it. It's not the end of the world. If they have a really good hand, then they can just play around whatever, but you can just straight up win games with cherries depending on your deck, especially if you have the extra deck targets for it. If you're playing a deck like Radiant Runic, right, you don't really care too much about your extra deck, so you could put in like a Snatchy, an Arthalion, or a Mirror Jade, or whatever other targets you want. But most decks have answers for that and can recur that back, but it definitely puts them in an awkward game state, and they're going to be sacrificing a lot just to recur those resources. So like I said, cherry's good, not the best. Now the chummies, now that they've been all reprinted, you can get these bitches in common now, which is fucking crazy. But I think given the current meta, we're gonna see something a little different. I'm gonna throw these up and you tell me, Jules, if you agree or not.
I would love to hear your reasoning about Meows and A. Fua's Fua. That I'm gonna say that.
Fua is budget max C. You get to draw.
I'm forever just gonna say Fua is Fua. There's no other way to describe it. Fua is Fua.
Fua is getting fucking limited, hopefully. But obviously a lot of decks right now are special summoning. And no matter what deck you play, if you play against Hero, you play against, even Sky Striker, they do a bunch of special summoning to set up. You're going to get draws, and being able to even like throw one chummy out and get 2 draws, or even just 1 draw, switching that chummy out for something else. Your deck thinning a little bit, maybe got another body or extra resource. But my reasoning for Meows is the branded deck does a lot of special summoning. They do a lot of recurring. Malice is not as popular, but we do see, because, and you can attest to this, Jules, every time we go to these events, whether it be box tournaments, case tournaments, regionals, there is minimum a handful of still Malice players that are there. But not only that, it hits Lunalight, because if Lunalight wants to full combo, they special summon a buttload from the graveyard. So it definitely forces them into a position of, how much do I want to give my opponent? Now, the reason why Meows is an A tier is, if you are able to double Fua, that's great. If you're able to double Meows, that's great. 1 Fua and 1 Meows definitely puts your opponent in kind of like an awkward state of like, what do I do? But not only that, Yummy also hates the Meows, because on your turn, right? If you draw it for turn or you hold the Meows, depending on which variant of Yummy, because you could still Meows on their turn and get like a couple draws, right? Because they do the field spell, they do Lollipo, they do Metal Marcher to revive. So if you think about it, Meows isn't a bad choice. It does cover a good amount of decks. Plus, there's even some fucking road decks that like Plunder Patrol or shit, I don't know, zombies maybe even, I don't know, but it's definitely a good side deck piece, because if you see you're playing against a deck that you can benefit a lot from a Meows, like I said, even against Yummy, if you draw for turn and in draw phase you go Meows, they now know you're gonna give them, or they're gonna give you a good amount of draws. So that's why it's A tier for me.
I could agree with that. I mean, the decks, especially branded, there's a lot of recursion. Me personally, if I were to play Meows, it would be in the side. But let's say, hey, if you want to build for your event and for a fact you're gonna get Lunalight, you're gonna get the grave spamming decks, Meows is not that bad, and now that it's about to be reprinted and probably no more than $2 to $3 as a single, why not?
Yeah, why not pick it up? But yeah, for all the decks that I stated and the reasons I stated, maybe give Meows a little bit of thought. It's not as bad as a card. Everyone's just thinking, oh, summoning from the banishment. Well, think about how many decks summon from the graveyard now. Think about how much of a problem Gravekeeper's Inscription could be. So, and then Perulia's Perulia, if you put like White Force in an awkward position, you can put Yummy Mitsurugi in an awkward position. You can put a lot of decks in awkward positions if they do need to summon a lot from the hand, especially Yummy. They might need to summon a lot from the hand. But K9, not that K9 is like super popular now. And they have ways where just don't forget about it. So Perulia, I think, is again, the way I'm thinking it is, would I rather see a Meows or a Perulia into a Yummy board? I know that if I draw Meows as a 6th card, I'm chilling. I'm gonna get a lot of draws. But if I draw Perulia as my 6th, you know what I'm saying? So that's what I have to say.
You might as well have drawn Driver.
Yeah, you might as well have drawn fucking nothing. But now that we're onto that, I do want to skip over a couple of these and do talk about, because you touched on it briefly, the Bestials. Now, I do just have Druisworm on here, Magma Hut on here, but I want to mention Druisworm and Baldrake, and not so much Saronir, but, the dynamic trio. Right now, that Branded is going to be coming along, and you can definitely get some good interruption. Definitely top of A tier. Being able to banish key materials when Albion goes to banish to special summon. If you banish one of those key pieces that they need to fusion summon, you have astronomically fucked up their whole combo, and now they either have to have the hand to deal with it, or they just pass right there. And of course, all the Bestials have Magma Hut being able to search another Bestial, Druisworm being able to, once it's sent, whether it's linked off or synchroed off or whatever, being able to target a monster and send it. Baldrake being able to tribute and then, not negate a summon, but banish whatever the special summon monster was. So, what are your thoughts as far as the Bestials as a package overall in the format we're currently in?
Druisworm right now, I mean, as a whole, on their own, let's put Branded aside for a second. Druisworm and Baldrake right now might not seem as good. However, when you pair them with Lubellion and being able to be searching the Magnuma and able to get those, that's kind of busted. And you briefly talked about Saronir not being as good. I feel that Saronir is the most important one alongside Magnuma, because that's the one that actually progresses Branded's plays. The thing with Druisworm, where he goes to the graveyard, you get the sense into the graveyard. You can just send cards from the deck to the graveyard that are Branded related. There are situations where I've seen you stop a Branded fusion. They get to Saronir go to the graveyard, sending the freaking Branded Retribution, I believe the card is, and they grab their Branded Fusion back for the follow-up. The Bestials are good. Probably not outside of Branded, but the Bestials are a problem for many decks. Yummy being lights, a well-timed Bestial could put a thorn in some Yummy plays.
Yeah, it's true. If all they have is the Mignon and they're targeting the one in the grave and you banish it, and they got no way to get it out quicker than the Bestial, or they don't have the bell, you definitely put it. But not only that, the Bestials are just big bodies as well, and they're all level 6s. So if you want to overlay into things like what was that Xyz we were going into during Rizal format?
It was the Goblin's Crazy Beast.
Yes, Goblin's Crazy Beast. Being able to overlay for a 6, there's so many great rank 6s you can also go into. There's a lot of options on the table, but Yeah, again, keep in mind, we're talking about the events and our environment that we go to. Tailor yours and just kind of think to your environment and what you're seeing and what you're doing. And now let's get to kind of some of the goated ones. I think without a doubt, Imperm obviously enjoys a spot up here. It's a not once per turn. It sets up the Dominus cards. It's a board breaker if you have to deal with a SP or Baguska or Mirror Jade or whatever. It's a great card. Plus, I don't know how many times I've seen people that I've been playing against, myself included, play into an Imperm column, and
Everybody.
it's just kind of like, well, most of the time your opponent just, even if it's game one, they just scoop it. Like, you got the match. I'm embarrassed. This is embarrassing. I shouldn't be doing this. I think, yeah, without a doubt, Imperm, great. Droll as well, definitely getting an S tier spot right now. There's a lot of searching going on, and there's a lot of crossover between K9 Crystron, K9 variants, Draco variants, branded variants, Yummy variants. A lot of decks that if they go, you know, White Forest is obviously still around, low bias, but just Droll is Droll. Enough said. It just have, whether you want to main deck it or side deck it, up to you. Personal opinion, I think it's main deck worthy by far. Given the events we go to, there obviously will be a lot of searching, and I would like to stop that as soon as possible. Yeah,
Mitsurugi is not dead.
Nope, we are not getting another ban list for a bit. You will still see 3 prayers, although prayers will get slaughtered on the next list. We're not at that point yet, so keep using your Drolls. And then the driver package, I think, is good. I don't think it's great, just for the simple fact that they do good stuff, but with the implication is you have to play with the 1 brick. Now, some decks may not care. You may play multiple drivers, however you want to ratio it out. Mitsurugi being popular, obviously Delta is going to get a good amount of usage because you can stop the ritual spell. Yummy, you can stop surprise. You can stop a lot of things, but I just personally would like to see other things, but for what they do is really good. Jules' thoughts?
If Gamma was at 3, I believe it would be right under Impulse for how good it could have been.
Oh, for sure. For sure.
It is quite literally probably the only way to stop a 5 mana. Turn 1, your opponent goes first.
Yeah. And these get even better because they provide you with the bodies.
Yes. They will give you some protection. You'll lose the bodies at the end phase, which if you feel that your opponent is going to continue playing on your turn, the board's empty, send them a chummy their way for their chummies.
Unfortunately, that Gamma is where it is. Delta still being a great card. You do have to play the brick. If you want to play 3 of the bricks, 1 of the brick, 2 of the brick, you know, that's deck building 101. But yeah, still great cards. Effect Veiler, I gotta say, honestly, it's like bottom beats here. Not only does it target in a format where everything happens so quick, but it has to be on your opponent's turn. And even the decks that we got coming out now, like Killer Tune, Konami's very much moving to this like turn 0 plays. Like, you don't just watch your opponent play a combo tutorial and then you can't break the board and it's like, well, guess we go to the next game. Like a situation who won die roll. So I think Effect Veiler over time has definitely lost a lot of value. Not that it's horrible, but there's definitely just better options out there. Like, I would definitely rather have a second Imperm in hand than an Effect Veiler.
As someone who's been playing Effect Veiler recently, seeing Effect Veiler as your draw turn 2 sucks because you just drew a card that can't even be used on your turn.
Yeah.
When that could have been like an Imperm that can stop something on the opponent's board. You drew the 1 card, can't do anything, so you're staring there like at the ceiling and like, what am I supposed to do with this?
Yeah. So Effect Veiler, it might just fall off entirely. I mean, some decks can get value out of it, like Blue Eyes can search it, White Forest can search it. but still, I'd rather just have other options. Dimension Shifter obviously is literally the best card if you can play it, but given the fact that it's at 1, whatever. If you are playing Malice, play the 1-up. If you're playing Vanquish Soul K9, play the 1. If your opponent just really can't play through the shifter and you get a free win off of it, congratulations. You drew the 1-of, you were able to use it, by all means. But given that it's at 1, you know, I'd rather see other things. Now something that I think is a little bit overlooked right now, that I think a few people are starting to see. I think that DD Crow top of A tier, maybe bottom S tier. And here's my reason. Yummy, like shit in the graveyard. Branded, like shit in the graveyard. Draco Tail, if you hit the Famina before Arthalion is able to bounce it back to hand, so they could fusion summon all over again. How do they fusion summon on your turn? Obviously, there could be other ways, but DD Crow being not once per turn and not like the Bestials where they have to target a light or dark monster, you could hit the ritual spell. You can hit the Ame. You can hit so many things, even if rogue decks. You can, if they target something to special summon or a monster's going to special summon itself, you can DD Crow just everything away and it interrupts so much play. And given the fact it's not once per turn, puts it well above that. So, what are your thoughts, Jules?
Crow, no. Can stop recursion, not even through monsters, but through spells and traps. You know, the Kusanagi being able to target the prayers, target the ritual, being able to try to get that out. You send the Crow down, get rid of that ritual spell, they're not going to ritual summon him. Because they're probably playing that ritual spell at 1, and they're going to have to find another way to get Kusanagi back on the field to grab it again.
Yep.
A niche interaction, but if you are playing Lunalight, and you need a spell to go through, and they have the Silver Hound in the graveyard, you send that Crow down, get that Silver Hound out of the graveyard, because it negates activation. And if for some reason you have a continuous spell, hello my UBL players, if Silver Hound goes off, you are scooping and you are committing selling the deck.
Yeah, straight up. DD Crow just hits a lot, hits more than you could possibly think. So, you know, if you're going to an event like we're going to the regional this weekend, I'm more than certain what deck I know I'm bringing, and I'm pretty sure I'm gonna have 3 DD Crow, potentially in the main. If it's the deck I think I'm gonna be bringing, I will main 3 DD Crow, because even if you go first and you're going against K9, that Lupus is not coming out and you are not summoning Ripper on my turn. Not only that, it's good interruption. So, DD Crow, everybody. Nib. I just feel like Nib is for bad players. I feel like, and what I mean by that is I think Nib is good to catch bad players off guard. Or decks that just super hard run into Nib. Most good players and most of the meta decks kind of solidify themselves from Nib. Either it doesn't matter, they have a negate before the 5th summon, or it just didn't matter. So I know Nib is searchable in some decks with the Granite. You know, just like I said, Nib, I just feel like just really catches bad players off guard, because if I'm playing against K9, they're going to have Ripper summon 3, and then Nib doesn't matter. Whereas I'd rather have an Ash or Bell or Droll or literally anything up here versus a Nib. You know, hot take, maybe. I don't know. Let me know, Jules. Let me know.
At a local level, I mean, Nib, you know, can really ruin people's day at the local level. I mean, you get out all kinds of competition at locals. Nib could be MVP some days. You go to a regional, and especially if you win maybe your first, maybe your second game, by round 3, the players you're gonna see up there, their deck probably already does not care. Or they just have plans to either play around it or play through it. Nib paired with nothing else is almost a you just hand looped yourself and you turned off yourself from using chummies.
Yeah. And congratulations, you probably turned on talents and thrusts. So not only did you fuck yourself over, but you gave your opponent even more advantage.
So Nib, it can be clutch, but more often than not, if you're not pairing it with maybe 1 to 2 more hand traps, your opponent is just gonna play as if you just gave them a card.
Yeah. So that's our thoughts on. Lancia. Lancia right now, obviously with Malice, it was like everyone was having 3 of in the side. Some people mainly.
It was a need. It was a need.
Yeah, you had 12 cards in your extra deck, and that's all you had to work with. Now, however, it's fallen off pretty hard. The decks that it can hit, branded, they got to banish quite a bit. Not necessarily, they can still get through it. And I would say for that reason, given that it's getting more popular, probably put it up a little. Probably put it top of B tier. It's not the worst thing in the world because you still will have your Malice players. It makes Lunalight a little awkward. Although they will just summon the one Laggard answer still. Stops them from getting a second one. Depending on how their hand is. Maybe they can only get the one by banishing and you're able to fully stop them. Maybe you're playing against Fluandereeze. Against Radiant Runic. If you, for whatever reason, see that in a non-Genesis format, sure. Is it worth having 3 of in the side still? Maybe not at this point, because a lot of decks that still do banish, it doesn't really matter that well. Branded is the only deck that would, definitely make them think kind of, what am I going to do and how am I going to pivot from this? But they can still do all their plays and they have a arsenal of fusion monsters that they can use. So, and then these last ones will be kind of quick. Phantasme, it's like, okay, right? There's not a lot of link decks. It's literally just Yummy, the one-off Blue Eyes player, you get a draw 2. A draw 2 is nice. Being able to craft your hand with a draw 2, discard 1, cool. Not really that great, right?
Especially with Vanquisher not really being prevalent, you can only guarantee you're gonna see a Snatchy. Now, if you can see a Rock with the Vanquisher, by all means, it's cool. But with Snatchy being the only real guaranteed link, because Branded is all fusion, you're not gonna see a link unless you're playing something I've never seen before, but
I don't think so. And even coming down the road when we have the deck building set coming out, it's fusion, it's flip, pendulum, and it's synchro. We don't even have a link deck. I mean, maybe during Dragon Link format, like Burst Protocol coming out, Dragon Link will be more prevalent. You can absolutely main deck this guy or definitely side deck it, and you can get a fucking draw 4 for sure. But right now, speaking for end of October, November, December, I probably would. Chaos Hunter, kind of the same thing. It's not the worst thing in the world, but it's not the best thing. It's very, very mid-range. It puts a body out, which is cool. It's a fiend. It's a dark fiend. It's a level 8 dark fiend, I think. Level 6. So maybe some Xyz plays, but it's not. I'd rather just have the Lancia, right? Because I could probably end the game on my turn anyway, so I don't need an extra body out on the field. Plus, it kind of turns off other things as well, like chummies and more stuff. So I'd rather have the Lancia versus the Hunter. And then these two guys, people think they are better than what they are. Now in Genesis format, they're actually atrocious. And I think they actually got points yesterday in Genesis format. But I just feel like, you could definitely catch a bad Dracotail player out. But at that point, once they already summoned the Arthalion, because I think this one, they need to have summoned and then on the resolution of the summon, you can special summon this. So it's like
they're a card for sure, but them actually popping off is very, especially if you're prepared for them.
Yeah, I mean, for the Yummy players that weren't expecting to get whatever this one is, Contact Seed, Retaliating Seed, whichever the one it is, that you have to use it as material, most of them are playing something like Cross Sheep or something generic where they can just get rid of it and it won't matter. And again, would I rather have this or would I rather have an Ash or a Bell? Because when you draw those 5 cards, if it's not a Chummy, you're dealing with just that hand and that hand alone. So I want each card that I draw and have in my hand to be blowout cards. I need a starter, extender, a droll, a Fua, an Imperm. I need heavy hitting cards that matter. That's simple enough. Yu-Gi-Oh 101. Azuna, it's on here because it's like technically a hand trap. Obviously in the K9 deck, it's the best way to start, but as a like hand trap of like just splashing it to get Ripper, I just wouldn't. Like, it's not, you can try it, but I think I would rather have literally anything else on here than just a Ripper, because if you're not playing pure or you're not playing the full package to get like, you know, the spell search and this and that, not really worth it. Herald, if your deck can play it, sure, by all means. What, the one Melodious deck? What's the Pendulum deck?
It is Sulfur Cord. I believe they have fairies.
Yeah, so cool. I mean, you're discarding and you're probably setting up turns, but everyone else just don't. Skullmeister just don't. Saravis, targeting protection.
Playing freaking
Voice. Absolutely. You're gonna search it anyways, but we're starting to see Konami actually make cards that don't target. Non-target bounce, non-target pop. You know, not a lot of non-targeting, which is great, cool by all means. But it's just, it like, again, I would rather have a Ghost Bell than a Saravis. And I think the rest of these can kind of just go in D tier unless you got something. I mean, Spider might be kind of crazy. I would definitely put like top of C. Probably it's better than probably these. It's not bad. I think Spider has to target, if I'm not mistaken. But if you're able to rip out some good Yummy cards, full boy. But other than that, I think the rest of these are just kind of just don't. Thoughts, Jules?
The list looks good. I will say about Herald of Orange Light. It is very good in a fairy deck. However, there are no good fairy decks right now. That will not be the case come Burst Protocol, because Dark Lords are very much gonna be a thing.
Yeah.
And they can and will play it.
And, correct me if I'm wrong, it's also not once per turn.
It is not once per turn.
It is not once per turn. So if you're under Chummy and you got a ton of advantage, you can just fucking Orange Herald all fucking day. I don't know how the Dark Lords play, but I know a lot of fairy decks, they need you set up by putting stuff in graveyard. So it definitely helps out. But with that, that is the list of the hand traps. Again, guys, we go to regionals, we go to YCS's, box tournaments, case tournaments. This list is tailored to what we're seeing, what we're expecting, our thoughts on the decks that we're seeing personally. And this is all just our opinion. This isn't, straight fact. Your thoughts and opinions might be different. And I would love to hear those and see those in the comments below. And what you disagreed on, what you agreed on. Do you like videos like this? Just let me know. Jules, thank you so much. We will, guys, see you in the next video where we will be talking about the price of Yu-Gi-Oh! Is it getting better? Is it getting worse? Is Yu-Gi-Oh! as expensive as they still say it is? Let me know. I'll see you guys later. Jules, thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you coming out.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Catch you guys later. Peace.